Alex Wirth is going to be talking about educating for entrepreneurship. And Alex understands this. He just graduated from Harvard last month, but he is the co-founder of Quorum, which is a quantitative assessment tool that is used in DC to track policies and legislation. He has a series of developers that all work with him on how they can help, and his perspective is very interesting for what we can do for education. So I'm excited to introduce Alex Wirth with our fourth Ed Talk, and then after that we're going to have a panel on STEM in the workforce. So please join me in welcoming Alex to the stage.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. Life in plastic, it's fantastic. You can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world.
Good morning, members of the Education Commission of the States. That right there was the first song that I ever downloaded from the internet. And it took a painful 12 and a half minutes on my family's old mainframe PC on a dial-up internet connection. But let's just say my younger sister was thrilled, and that's all we heard for an entire week. And this right here was me when No Child Left Behind passed. I was having a particularly bad hair day in Miss Christensen's third grade class at Wood Gormley Elementary School. I wasn't old enough to have even heard of or be one of the 3 million Americans on Friendster, America's first social network. And only about 50% of my classmates and fellow Americans had internet access at the time. Today, 14 years after No Child Left Behind passed, our world has completely changed, but our education system has not. It now takes just 18 seconds to download a song from the internet. And my laptop computer is over 1,000 times more powerful than my family's mainframe computer was 14 years ago. And Facebook has 1.4 billion users, making the now defunct Friendster a small rounding error. This comes at a time when 87% of Americans now have internet access. And this has led to a plethora of new companies that have all been started since No Child Left Behind passed. We can now share videos on YouTube, pay people electronically with PayPal, sell our arts and crafts on Etsy, and share our own messages on Facebook. And these companies are not only a representation of how much the world has changed over the last 14 years, but they are examples of my main point for you today. And that's that today, it is easier than ever to be an entrepreneur. Now here's why. First, computational resources have become much more accessible and faster than ever before. I run a company called Quorum that does big data analysis at the US Congress. We process over 800 million points of data to figure out who members of Congress work with most frequently, and who's most active, influential, bipartisan, and effective on over 1,000 different issue areas. If we wanted to start our company back in 2001, we would have had to have $1 million to buy the physical servers that we would need to process all the data. Today, we rent those servers from Amazon, paying a little less than $10,000 a year for as much or as little computational resources as we need. And this makes it incredibly easier to actually both launch and scale websites, and is the reason why many of the companies that you just saw on that screen today now exist. Second, with the advent of social networks, good ideas now have the potential and the ability to go viral. I chair the youth working group of the US National Commission for UNESCO. And one of the things we realized was that it was simply too difficult for young people from different countries to talk with each other. So we spent $100 and threw up this Wix website without writing a single line of code with a Google form where people could go and sign up to talk with other people and have a Skype conversation and share what was happening in the different countries. In the first month since we launched it, we'd over 1,000 people sign up from 100 different countries without one reference in a traditional media outlet. Simply sharing it through our Facebook and Twitter pages, organizations sharing it with their email lists, and spreading via word of mouth. Because today, every single person now has the tools to share ideas that they find powerful and initiatives that resonate with them. And finally, the last big thing is that not only is there more venture capital money out there than ever before, but every single person, including all of you in this room, are startup investors. With the advent of sites like GoFundMe and Kickstarter.com, anybody can get funding for an idea that they are interested in or want to propose. Take my resident dean at Harvard. He got tired of spending so much time sitting at his desk doing administrative paperwork, and so came up with the idea for a portable standing desk called StandStand, and put the idea up on Kickstarter trying to raise $25,000 to buy the machine that he would need to mass produce these desks. By the time his Kickstarter campaign closed, he's raised $118,000 that allowed him to start his business without having to take any outside investment. With the breadth of the computational power that's now accessible, the advent of social networks, and how easy it's become to raise capital, it is now easier today than ever before to start something. Whether that be a for-profit company, a new initiative at the nonprofit that you work for, or simply just bringing together your neighbors for a community meeting. And we now need to make sure that our students are prepared to succeed in this rapidly changed world. Here's how we do that. First, we need to embrace creativity and encourage all of our students to think outside the box. In 5th grade, in Miss Rodriguez's class, I was doing a project building medieval castles. And in the process with a group of classmates, came up with the idea for a substance called galuba. 1/3 Elmer's glue, 1/3 water, and 1/3 flour, we thought we had the next big thing. It was going to provide a sustainable building material in third world countries, cure battlefield wounds, and hold the whole world together. We were so excited in what we were doing that we made everybody sign confidentiality agreements. And I dove into the US Patent and Trademark website trying to figure out whether I could patent our top secret formula. And let's just say that while Gluba isn't a household name today, it taught me that my creativity was valued. And we need to make sure that every single one of our students feels the same way, so they're consistently thinking outside the box and looking for the next big thing, coming up with new and innovative ideas. Second, we need to double down on critical thinking, because throughout the process of any venture, problems are going to come up, and we need to make sure that our students are prepared to solve them. One of the hardest exercises that I ever had to do was in the 6th grade, when Mr. Wechter made me write instructions for how to build a Lego set without using any pictures. I'd encourage all of you to try it someday, because I struggled massively at describing every individual piece and how it fit together to get anything that resembled what was on the front page of the box. But what it taught me as I faced problem after problem was how to go about and think about things in a new way, and gave me the practice of critical thinking that is so essential today to solving many of the problems that I find in the different initiatives that I'm working on. We have to make sure that all of our students don't give up the first time they run into a challenge and have practice at solving problems that they will face throughout their careers. And finally, we need to create opportunities that foster and practice collaboration, because no single company, initiative, or organization is started or run by one person. They're run by teams of people. In the 8th grade, I had to do my first ever group project. It was debating whether or not global warming was real. And I was assigned to work with 2 classmates that didn't necessarily like current events or debating as much as I did. And let's just say I was better at color coding what statements they should be reading than delegating. But that project and the many more group projects I had to do afterwards taught me the valuable interpersonal skills of how to work together in a team, and gave me the practice that I would use later on to now work with our team of 22 at Quorum. We need to make sure that every single one of our students are having these same opportunities to work with each other, because it's these collaboration skills that are going to lead to their success in the workplace. By teaching creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration, we can ensure that every one of our students is prepared to succeed in this rapidly changing world, where you have students like me going off to start their own companies, college graduates going to work at companies like Uber, Airbnb, and Slack that didn't even exist when they entered college, and in a rapidly competitive and open global workforce. Together, with your help, we can ensure that every single one of our students is an entrepreneur. And if you were still counting, we'd have 2 minutes to go before Aqua's Barbie girl would have finished downloading on a 2001 internet connection. Thank you so much.